What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Side Hustle. Bryan Fonseca here, and on this episode, we're going to sit down with Erika Fernandez, who is a social media correspondent at DAZN, a bilingual editor as well. She's done a lot of things that she's hated to have to get to this point, and she's got a lot of other great things coming up. We're going to sit down with her on this episode of Side Hustle. You've experienced a lot of different careers, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of crap I hate.
So let's get into that, because you're one of these people who, all right, now you're doing something closer to what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right, in social media and working at DAZN and things like that. But it took a long way to get here.
It took a whole 5 fucking years. I'm sorry for cursing.
It's fine. And doing a lot of things you hate. So sort of break that down.
Sure. So I would say the journey started in 2013, and a friend of mine was like, how do you make sure that you're memorable, brand yourself, Erika? So I remember I had a legal pad. I was sitting on a couch, my parents' house, and I'm like, all right, what's a clever name that I can use to kind of throw myself into the sports field? So he suggested create a Twitter. I remember I'm like, okay, let me keep it memorable. Maybe, curls and sports. Yeah. Why not? So I started out little dabble. I started out with writing with people for like Fan-Sided. Is that the name?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it. But
They don't pay.
They don't. But I feel like, all right, let me get my name somewhere out there. Mm-hmm. And then a friend of mine was like, hey, there's this event with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was giving supplies away to teachers. So he's like, try to see if you can get in. So I'm just like, okay, let me give it a shot. So they ended up letting me in. I don't even know how I got in, considering, Fan-Sided, there's no real credential.
Yeah.
But that was the first real moment where I got a chance to like interact. And I remember I was so excited, so happy. But then leaving there and having to go the next day to this miserable 9-to-5 office job that I hated. I worked in everything. I literally did like a whole bunch of temp jobs. You're hoping for a job there 9-to-5 just so it could keep you maintained for your 6-to-10 job, because after locker room opens up at 6:15. So I'm like, all right, I'm working till 5. I could walk to MSG. So it was real tough times. Like, I really thinking about it, I'm like, what the fuck did I do for 5 years temping?
Yeah, well, break some
and
of that.
People don't think about that.
Yeah, and break some of that down because you weren't even one of these people that you graduated college and you got right into like sports and doing what you wanted to do, because you had that gap where you were also just working these other jobs.
Yeah, no, and thank you for shining light on that, because it's like, I feel like we come across and we forget the struggles that we've been through, and when we kind of make it, we're like, wow, I forgot about all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm class of 2010. So at the time I was working at T-Mobile. So I'm like, you know what? I thought I really wanted to work in public relations. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. I really want to stick to broadcasting. And ultimately, I really still want to get into that.
You studied that in Fordham?
Yeah. Okay. So I did TV broadcast journalism, and my minor was Spanish. Okay. So I figured, I could work for Telemundo one day. Why not?
Okay.
But it was 2012, and I remember I started working at this is where I think my random brigade of jobs started. I started working at this methadone clinic in Harlem for heroin addicts. I feel like I'm taking people through my resume, my BS resume. I didn't know that it was still around. Like, it's 2012. I'm like, people are still addicted to heroin.
Well, yeah, by that time not we, but like people had moved on to like scissor and stuff.
So I was there for a month, and I saw so much stuff. It was very, very scary. It was eye-opening. I'm just like, oh my God, there's still people out there. Like, there was a woman that was 18 years old, 3 kids, shooting up since she was 13, and she had AIDS.
And you were seeing this?
And I was seeing this. I was their counselor, and I didn't have any sort of certification. So I feel like that was one, reckless of them to hire me, knowing that I didn't even have a background in MSW or whatever the initials are in social work. Wow. So I was there for a month, and I'm just happy that they laid me off, because they ended up having budget cuts. So at the time, I wasn't even upset, because I remember I left T-Mobile. I hated T-Mobile that much. I got the job Monday and I left Thursday. I didn't give a damn. I did not give a damn. I am very thankful, though. I lived at home. I just moved out a year ago. No, please laugh, because it's funny. It's an amazing story. I love sharing it. And I remember that same day, and this is something I've never shared, but might as well share it.
Oh no.
No, it's funny. I quit / got fired from T-Mobile. Let me explain.
Okay.
Thursday comes along, and I remember I was 15 minutes late. I didn't give a damn. It was my last day. They're like, oh, Erika, we're letting you go. And I'm just like, how are you letting me go when I quit on you? I'm confused.
Oh.
So they're like, you mean you quit? I'm like, you don't speak English? I told you I quit. So the HR department called me because I was like, the methadone clinic laid me off. So I'm like, all right, of course I'm going to try to claim unemployment benefits.
Yeah.
The HR rep calls me and she's like, so did you quit? And I'm like, yeah, but legally you guys have me as fired. So what's the problem? So it also benefited me in a way. So I'm just like, okay, perfect. I have unemployment benefit.
Yeah.
I was 23? I feel like if you're going to do something stupid, it should totally be under 30. And even and even if you're over 30, I feel like you're still given some space because I feel like some of us, we kind of focus on being too perfect. And then when stuff, when shit hits the fan, when you're 35 and over, you really don't know how to react to it. And it's really okay. Like you're gonna have support. My parents totally understood. I remember I was on unemployment for like a year and I was literally just writing places, doing stuff. So it's like, just because I was collecting something weekly doesn't mean that I wasn't doing something for my career.
Yeah.
I was going to benefits. I was going to networking events. So I had a job fair in the Prudential Center in Jersey. And it was a long ass line. And I went super dressed up. And this was, mind you, 2 months after I quit / got fired. So, and I say I quit / got fired from T-Mobile all the time. So now you know the story.
Yeah.
So I remember it was like the end of August. I'm like, okay, let me actually throw myself into the job market. Let me see what's out there. Let me at least get a job in sales, something. Because I know that that's the easiest way to get into sports is either sales. A lot of people told me that at the time. When I'm telling you, I saw that long ass line and people dressed in like uptowns, not even dressed appropriately. Like at least, you're supposed to dress for the job you want, and then after you get the job.
Arguable.
Yeah, but then.
I'm not the living embodiment of that.
No, I get it. But still, like you're so, like how you
but
dress
up. But at a
up.
job fair, you should probably throw on a blazer.
Yeah, and I remember I saw someone in, I think it's some Bryan joints and they were mad dirty. But whatever, it is what it is. So we went inside and I saw the stands and it was literally, they were just collecting boxes of resumes. I was so turned off. And when I remember I went down the escalator, it's like I'm looking at it right now. All I saw was them just shoot all in boxes, a whole bunch of resumes.
So you're saying some job fairs are bullshit?
They are bullshit.
And
ever since then I haven't been to one, and that was 2012.
And that's really discouraging because at that time especially, you're figuring out how to get into what you want us to do.
Exactly.
So I have a couple questions about that. On one hand, throughout all this time where you're doing these weird ass jobs,
oh my God, I could totally
you're going to this job fair and you're quitting T-Mobile / getting fired. For
lateness.
But you're doing all that. What are you processing? Like, how am I gonna get into what I want to do?
Yeah, so
like, how am I gonna get into what is it that I set out for when I was at Fordham?
Yeah, so I remember 2013 then rolled around. I remember I kind of just was doing stuff with Fansided, like a weekly. It was NFL season, so I was doing like a weekly game recap
while still working.
Exactly, while still working the day jobs.
Yeah.
2013 rolls around. I'm like, okay, let me connect with some more people on Twitter, and I noticed my engagement started growing. So a former colleague and I, we started a website called Geeks and Cleats.
Okay.
I think I told you about that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she had a family issue. I don't even know what happened to her. I hope she's great. But that website really kind of helped launch us in. And at the same time, she was working with Black Sports Online. So he was overseeing a lot of our help because he's willing to help, which is great. And he was letting us know like stuff. I learned a lot about him from WordPress. Like there's a lot of little tools there that I didn't even know how to use, but he put us onto that. So in 2014 is when I really launched myself with him. And obviously you see his growth. Working those 9 to 5s from 2014 till May of last year. Dude, it was rough.
What were some of them?
Oh my God, I'm ready to like just spill word vomit.
Okay, let's go.
I was doing like admin work, and the one last year, I don't know how I didn't punch her in the face, but I'll get into that one in a second. So I did social media investigations. I was like office management. I did
while now balancing Black Sports Online.
While balancing Black Sports Online, yeah.
Knicks and stuff like that.
So I would work 9 to 5, rush, go to Barclays Center, go to the Knicks. On the weekends, go to NFL. If there's boxing, go to that. If there's an event, Comic-Con. Like, I was literally everywhere for 4 years, and I didn't even realize how much stuff I was really doing. We got into places, we're credentialed, we're...
While many of us have other jobs.
Yeah,
real jobs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like 9 to 5s paying what? I remember the lowest job I took was like $13 an hour. And it's like because at the time I was paying student loans, but thankfully student loan free. But at the time I'm like, okay, my student loans, I have to pay that 200 something a month. I need to make sure, because I'm not going to ask my parents for that. They're going to be like, no, we can't help you with that. Sorry, we have the other bills to take care of. We got you in rent and food, which is dope. At least they were giving me shelter and food.
Yeah.
But the job last year, I was I was temping for somebody, and they had been let go of in December. So I started that position end of January, and I was there till the end of April. And when I'm telling you, this woman was so demeaning, so condescending. And I had to one day tell, I think she caught me on a bad day, and it was a good day for me to just tell her off. She was explaining something to me, but it was some system that they use for like expenses, and I just wasn't understanding it. And at the same time, I didn't really care for it because I'm just there to collect the paycheck and be out, because I have an event to go to at 6:15.
Right.
So I was there from 9 to 6. So imagine going from 9 to 6 and hoping to catch the next locker room opening at 6:15. I wasn't gonna make it.
And by the way, not getting home till
Oh yeah,
midnight?
exactly, midnight to do it all over again.
And then the next day, oh, I'm back at work at 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
So it's a regular, 18-hour or whatever work day it is.
Yeah, but she said something to me that stood in the back of my mind. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even going to respond to her because your time will come. She said, people with degrees feel entitled to get positions. And I'm just like, Erika, shut up. You're here. You never know. They can call the agency. You're going to get let go tomorrow. You're on a plan. You're saving money. You're doing good. So I'm just like, all right, let me keep that in the back of my brain because I'm going to bring it up to you one day. So the reason I almost punched her in the face was because she was being super condescending. And I remember I had to spit out my education to her, and I don't like doing that because it's so demeaning. My brothers didn't graduate college, but they have vocational training, which I'm a big fan of because I feel like, we're a product of New York City public schools. I remember yelling at her. I'm like, listen, I have a college education. I need you to not talk down to me because I'm here 9 to 6, and I need you to respect me because I'm not no stupid idiot. Obviously, I said like F words, but I don't want to drop more F words. But towards the end of the assignment, we ended up being cool. And I'm like, you said something to me in February, and I'm just going to make sure to let you know. I'm like, after leaving this office, I go to work. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not like you where I have another job on the weekends just to save money. I'm like, I actually have a dream that I go to. She's like, oh, I had no clue. I'm like, yeah, so don't think about it that people with degrees are entitled. I'm like, maybe entitled is the wrong word. I'm like, but maybe we're just so desperate for our dreams to come true because we worked hard for 4 years.
More than that.
So so she's like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And I'm like, yeah, so I would just say, be careful what you say because that also comes across as assholey. So then I got another assignment at the end of May, and then this is when DAZN kicked in, and I remember I cried when I got the job.
For DAZN.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's...
It was something I really wanted, and it was just crazy.
It's really the first big job after all these years.
Yeah.
After all these jobs, it's the first big job where it's like, all right, finally, full-time, benefits, social media. I love social media, good at it, in sports, with the company who's really on the rise.
It's true.
Yeah. So getting that job now.
Yeah.
So your perception, has it changed? Because you still have a lot of other goals you want to accomplish.
No, for sure. I really, like my major goal right now, and honestly, it's been inspired by you and obviously seeing everyone else's reel and seeing how much growth that they have in their careers. But I still want to do on-air reporting, and obviously I feel like there's still much more training that I could do. You never know, I feel like you could still learn from a lot of people. So it's such a good thing to see growth and be a part of something so special this way. Because I feel like our time here isn't done at all. And whenever that time comes for me to move on, I'll be like, listen, look at all this thing that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your resume, even throughout doing all those other jobs,
exactly.
your resume is so
I definitely have 2 separate resumes. I have a BS resume, which I hope to God never to use again, knock on airwood. But the sports resume, I definitely remember redoing it early last year because I feel like it was too full of information. So I remember I had a few eyes look at it. They're like, why don't you compress it this way, do this? So now it's just one solid page. And I remember I had to get rid of Geeks and Cleats because it's not even on, the website's not even there anymore.
Yeah.
So at this point, it is what it is.
Yeah. And that's it on this episode of Side Hustle with Erika Fernandez. We're out of here. We'll be back next week more stuff, more side hustle content very soon. Take care.